Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 3 of J&N Adventures. On today's episode, we have a man who needs little to no introduction, a man with almost 60,000 YouTube subscribers, and a man who spends every second of his spare time in the outdoors, Mr. Chuck Porter. Chuck, thanks for coming on. It's a
No
pleasure to have
sweat,
you, man.
brother. Thanks for having me on here.
So, Chuck, you're based out of, not based out of, I guess, but you live in Lab West.
Yeah. It's the nearest towns to where we are is about 45 kilometers away is Labrador City in Wabash, and that's in the western part of Labrador.
Yeah. So, right now, you currently live off grid, right?
Yes, we do. We live in a log cabin, and that's east of those two towns I just mentioned.
Yeah. How do you find living off grid?
Actually, it's going surprisingly well. I had a cabin in this area,
Yeah.
an off-grid cabin, of course, and there's no power within, like say, 45 kilometers of here. And we made the plunge when the kids got old enough to get away from the house there. That they went on their own ways and they finished school and stuff. That we figured we'd move down here full time. That's when we built this log cabin, and this is our fourth year now. It's our fourth year, and there was a lot of bumps starting off, a lot of sleepless nights. But I must say, happy to say that it's going extremely well. We love this life. We love our location. We love the cabin. We love Labrador, and we've fine tuned our operation pretty good. And thankfully, I hate to say it, that it pretty much runs itself at this point. We always look at things in maintenance, whatever, but we love it. I must say, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome, man. I know it's when it comes to living off grid, I'm sure there's a lot more work that goes into it than just like living in a residential community.
Yeah, when people see my videos and stuff, or they visit here,
Yeah,
Boxing Day we had 32 people here about Boxing Day. We always open up almost like an open house for Christmas and stuff for friends and whoever wants to drop by.
nice.
And of course, people stop by and they see the operation here, and it's just like seamless or like any other house really
Yeah,
in town. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of things going on that you don't see, and but it's a rewarding for me because and Melanie and a lot of people, a lot of friends in my family, we all had our hands into it, and it's rewarding to see it work. I must say, it's a good feeling.
yeah. I can imagine. I know it's just from my side of it. I know when something works out, how rewarding it can be. So I can only imagine something of that nature and that scale.
Yeah.
You're running a generator and solar, right?
Actually, the generator goes as a very, very, not even secondary, I'd call it tertiary, or it's way down the line. This place
Yeah.
runs itself mainly off of solar.
Okay.
And last year, I stopped using my generator on Valentine's Day, February the 14th. I didn't start it up anymore until pretty much November the 1st, which is which is
Wow.
which is a good record. Now, of course, any place that's you go November, December, January, even creeping into February,
Yep.
you get the short days. You only get about maybe 4.5 to 5 hours of usable sun on a good day. So outside of that, if it's cloudy or whatever, my system here can withstand a lot of it's a lot of battery reserve there, so it can go a long time. But yeah, some days you have to start. We start our generator up today actually for a couple of hours, let it recharge itself a little bit. But then that's it.
Yeah.
You even on days when you start your generator, you're still 80% of the time just on battery reserve and the solar she picked up from the day.
So when, like, say, for an instance today, like you started your generator, that was just to just give it that little extra boost, just in case, or
Yeah, because Melanie was home and she was like washing clothes and all that kind of stuff that
yeah,
people
yeah,
might not think anything about, but that kind of stuff uses up a lot of energy. So today was the day for that. So it was a large consumption day. So just replenished it, and the Bluetti system we got here accepts charge pretty well from our generator, and it just keeps us going.
nice. So your entire solar system, is that all Bluetti or?
Nope, no. The solar panels themselves, some are Bluetti, some are Canadian Tire jobs. I got a bunch from Solar Store Canada, I think it was called.
Okay.
My buddies and I ordered some in, but the Bluetti system, everything inside here is actually the Bluetti system, and I've tried everything. You probably mentioned in my videos, you've seen me mention this. I tried everything over the years, but nothing was flawless as what that is right now. So one of the things that I'm so thankful for. It just helps our day to day so much.
Yeah, I
Like
can
I said,
imagine it makes all that the off-grid living easier when you got something that's compatible and
reliable. Yeah,
works so smoothly, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome, buddy. So like you mentioned when the kids were a little older, you decided to move off-grid. So from the time you started building your cabin until you got it, say where you're at it now, like 4 years?
Well, yeah, we started building this place, assembling it. It was a log kit. It was a log home that I
Okay.
just helped design with a guy in St. John's, actually, Venture Log Homes. And the 18th of September, it arrived here, and we moved in here. Still a bit of sawdust under our feet that Christmas. And
Wow.
of course, now, again, there was sawdust under our feet for a few months after that.
Yeah, yeah.
It probably took me I'd say close to a year. But I tell you, that was a busy year. I worked and I did everything else and I made YouTube videos and I traveled, but I spent like 20-hour days here. I was
Yeah.
determined to get it done. I didn't stop until it was done. And it took me a year. You're talking about, I had help from friends and family, like I mentioned. But most days I was by myself for 20 hours and driving nails and sawing boards, but I got it done in a year. Of course, there's always something you're going to do afterwards. I mean, any home
Yeah.
is like that, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
it took me a
That's
year.
that's pretty remarkable actually. Like you said, I know
Hmm.
you had help and all that, but like you said, all those long days by yourself, some
Yeah.
days it probably felt like you weren't getting anywhere. But at the end of the day, once you look back, you probably didn't realize how much you accomplished while you were doing it.
Funny you should say that. About 2 nights ago, I sat on the couch there, and I was looking up at the ceiling. There's a cathedral ceiling right where I am here now. And I remember being up on the scaffolding, and I was doing the boards up on the roof here. And I look at it now and I say, I can't even believe that that actually happened.
Yeah,
Because I remember being at the time, it just seemed like you were just barely scratching the surface. It seemed every day. And then all of a sudden, one room was done, the second room was done, and then I put some water in here, got some water on it, and then it was just like it snowballed in a positive way,
yeah.
and it just seemed like it unfolded. The book opened the pages by itself at the end of it, and you had that momentum going and motivation increased, but it was a lot of hard work.
I can only imagine. And like you said, once you've
Mhm.
seen things start to come together, I guess like you mentioned, that gave you that extra motivation to keep pushing and work until you pretty much couldn't work no more at it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's and like I watch all your videos and all that, and I've seen that you have a sawmill. You've got it all like canopied in and all that stuff. And how do you find that? Like, did you use that to do any of your inside work or anything like that, or?
Yeah. And in fact, I've been having a lot of fun with that. And that was a thing that I grew up with, not a bandsaw, but
Yeah,
it was a rotary sawmill. And it
yeah,
brought
yeah,
back memories to have a sawmill and to start logging all over again. A whole new, rejuvenated venture that I used to do when I was a boy, actually, growing up right into my teenage years. And now I've restarted that. And that's got me excited like you wouldn't believe because I'm up in the woods and I'm finding new timber, and then I'm finding new ways to get to that timber, and then I'm finding better ways and mechanisms to harvest and get the timber back home. And then the mill came, and I started to use the mill, and then I got the accessories to um, sharpen my own blades and stuff, and this thing just exploded, and I never expected that to happen. And now I built that sawmill. You'll see my next video that'll come out next week. Features, I won't give away the surprise, but it'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
something about my sawmill house. And I built that with my own two hands, with that mill, and every single lumber in that thing I built with my sawmill. And I only just got my sawmill. So if I can do it, because I always say I'm not an expert in anything, but it, it's a very satisfying thing to have, and I enjoy it, and I can't wait to start at the other projects in the spring. I got a real nice one coming up.
Good. Yeah, I know. Like you mentioned, it makes you excited and all that. Um, a lot of people don't realize like when you love the outdoors and just love being out there for pretty much no reason. Like the littlest things can like turn your crank, right? Make you excited and get you going. So that's awesome, man. And it's good to see
Mhm.
like you putting your own lumber to use and whatnot, you know.
Yeah. It is. It's a good thing. It's a good point what you said about the small things, and even today, to be transparent, today I had a rough day. I was up in town. I was working, and it's just one of them days, when it seemed like everything kind of got to me, whether it was justified or not. I'm just a human being, right?
Yeah.
And when I leave town and I come back to this cabin, come back to the family, Melanie's here and the two dogs, and after supper, I just got up and I went for a walk with the dogs in the woods, on my woods road. And that's back to the very basics of life, really. It's so basic
100%.
to do that.
Yep.
There's no influences. When you're there, that's a good feeling. And that's a part of this off grid life is being away from everything and experiencing just the bottom level of the existence while we're here. And I love that. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I know. I think it was probably my first episode. I mentioned that being outside, being in the great outdoors, sometimes that tells you that showing up is enough, right? And like you said, it's just the simplest things, the bottom line things that can, clear your head, do whatever, and just bring you back to where you want to be. So moving on from the off-grid living, uh, let's get into your adventures. I know you spend a lot of time in your hot tents, you and your dogs, and what made you want to start filming that and doing that stuff?
Well, the winter tenting thing is something that I started probably 30 years ago for work, basically.
Okay.
We used to we used to follow around the caribou herds, and whether we were doing enforcement work or we were doing management work, the George River caribou herd was the biggest herd in the world at the time,
Yeah.
800,000 animals estimated. And we would follow those herds around doing different types of work, and we would stay in cabins and tents doing that. And it sparked something inside of me that this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
A lot of people I see don't like that and realize this is not for me. But when I did it, I felt like it was almost I'm off grid living now, but that's even further off grid living. That's about as basic as you can get it. So years ago, when I thought to myself, well, when I had the YouTube channel started, I said I must film it to see if people are interested in that. There's a worldwide interest in that sort of thing, and it got me thinking that a lot of people have never experienced this. They've never been here. They may have seen it once or twice from a different perspective. But to go out in a winter tent when it's cold, -30 or colder, with feet and feet and feet of snow around you, or as in my last video where there was a snowstorm happening while I was there,
Yeah.
most of the world have never seen anything like that. So it draws a lot of interest. So not only is it interesting to me, but it's interesting to most of the world. If they see it, they're amazed by it. So that would be the reason why I would uh, be filming that.
Yeah, I know even for me, to feet and feet of snow and being able to do that stuff, it's right in my backyard. But even watching your stuff, knowing I do something very similar, that still makes me excited and still makes me want to do it more as well. When you watch someone
Yeah.
like yourself just out there, just enjoying what God has to offer and what the world has to offer at the simplest forms, right? It's
Yeah.
like you said, it doesn't get much more simpler than that. I mean, you got no water. Um, your heat's a wood stove, and it does really doesn't get much better than that. Not in
hmm
my
It's
opinion,
it's
anyway.
just, yeah. It's pretty basic. It's very basic. It's survival to a degree. Now I have some good gear now these days, but it is you're only I keep telling people the wall of the tent is this thick, right? And that's
Yeah.
what's sheltering you.
Yep.
And that's how far you are from being totally exposed. And so although it looks comfortable on my videos, I'm in the tent cooking a nice meal and stuff. I really am conscious that I am just literally millimeters away from emergency evacuation plan from there, we'll say, right? So
Yeah,
there's an element of risk and excitement there too.
yeah, there's no doubt. And you mentioned like the minus 30, minus 35. I know you guys get it real, real cold up there. One of your videos, you were in your inflatable tent.
Hmm.
Tell us about that one. How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, that was the inflatable tent in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So those that tent is rated as a 3-season tent, and of course a 3-season tent would be spring, summer, and fall. And I sometimes I lie in bed nighttime and I think about different things to do, and I wonder if it can be accomplished. And I had never seen it done before. I didn't search it up. I decided not to even look it up. I just wanted to try it wholly and solely on my own. And I said, I'm going to try and make this tent work when it's not supposed to work. So I
Mm-hmm.
took it up in the coldest of temperatures, and I knew in my back of my mind, I thought, if I can keep this thing warm, the same temperature all night, then it shouldn't deflate.
Mm-hmm.
And by those inflatable tents, that's why it's standing, because that's what it's supported by is air. If it deflates, you're done, right? So
100%.
it was I will admit it was a restless night first, at least in the first beginning of the night when I was there, because I didn't know what was going to
Yeah.
happen. And but as the night progressed, and I thought to myself, I can do this,
Yep.
and I did it. I stayed there during those freezing times, freezing temperatures, and I got it to work. And I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but I really enjoyed doing it, and that's a large part of my channel is trying new things, experimenting,
Yep.
and doing things that people may not have ever done before, so they know if they can do it.
That's right. And I know you use the RBM pop-up tent as well. How do you find that one? Like I've been looking all over the internet. Um, I want one right or wrong. Now
Yeah.
for me, when I go, it's mostly just myself, maybe someone else. But so I was thinking about like the up two. I know it's smaller, but
Hmm.
yours is bigger than the up two, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think mine's about 3 feet more wider in diameter at the
Okay.
base. Yeah.
And like in all your videos, it seems pretty simple to pop up. And and one of the other ones I've seen that you made this. I'll call it a gadget to
Yeah.
help you get it up, right? Um,
Yeah.
so overall, I know like fall it'll be fine, but like wintertime, how do you find that one? Like hold the heat and whatnot. Like,
Yeah. So I had a lot of hard nights in tents, right? And the way I view winter tenting is this, and I think I mentioned this probably more than once over the years in videos. If you have a good experience when you winter camp, you'll want to do it again.
yeah.
And it's like when you first start, when you get your driver's license. You remember the first day you get your driver's license,
Oh
and
yeah.
you're so excited to get your certificate that day,
Yeah.
and you would drive anything, right? Because you got your license. I can drive on the road.
100%.
And when you winter tent, it's like that. It's like, oh my goodness, I got my first tent, my first stove. I don't care how it turns out, I just have to do it. So I had my license in tenting a long time ago. So to use the analogy further, you usually, now you want to drive a certain vehicle, right? And then you get your own vehicle. And then you get a few more bucks and you get a better vehicle. Well, that's where I am with the tent right now. This RBM tent um, it's the best I've ever had. And it's a Cadillac. It's a double walled thing. It stays warm. It doesn't build up a lot of condensation. Is roomy. It's fast to put up. The stove with it lasts 5 to 6 hours. So I really feel spoiled when I'm there. But it gives me that experience that I long for, and it makes you want to go back. Because there's a large lesson on life I learned many years ago, and my friends around me know this. If it takes you a long time to get set up in anything, you'll do it once or you'll do it twice. But if you get something that's simple and easy and you know it's not a lot to get to where you want to go, you'll do it over and over. So I love the old Labrador tents. But I was talking to one of my friends just last week, and he said, we want to go tent. And he said, I'm going to take my Labrador tent. He said, but I tell you, Chuck, is a pain to get it set up. And it is, it's you got to do a lot of work. You need a couple of good hours before you go to get ready to go to bed, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas with those pop-up tents, if you do it, if everything went okay, you'd be done 7 or 8 minutes, less than 10 minutes from start to finish. You're putting splits in your stove and you're warming it up. So that makes you not worry about the next time you have to set it up. So I feel spoiled with it. I really do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that seems like a dream come true, to be honest, for tenting.
It is.
Like I
Yeah.
know the one I have now. I just the last couple of years I've just been getting into those overnight hunting trips and all that. Um, so I just went on Amazon and bought something, just to try it out.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, like your starter car, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
Now it's not as hard as one of those Labrador tents to set up, but
Yeah.
it takes you a good half an hour, 35 minutes until you're ready, like you said, to start putting wood in the stove. And
Yeah.
the condensation on the inside during those chilly fall nights it's a lot. And
Yeah.
the stove that came with it, when I went in, it's probably mid-October of last fall, and even then it probably only dipped about 4 or 5 degrees outside. But every hour you were out putting wood in the stove,
Yeah.
or you felt the chill when
Hmm.
you woke up, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it's like, I feel like you would have no problem getting a comfortable night's rest in that pop-up tent that you have.
Yeah. We spent 4 or 5 nights back moose hunting. Moose hunting. Yes, we were back moose hunting at that time. I did a lot of trips this last fall. I did moose, caribou, and black bear, ptarmigan, waterfowl, you name it. But we were moose hunting, and me and my friends went back, and we actually ended up getting two moose. We spent 4 or 5 nights in a tent, and it was a beautiful tent. I'm telling you. Um, but his stove was a limiting factor, and if he was here now, if he listens to this, he'll grin because he'll know. We had a hard time with that stove, and I was tormenting him. And he was a man who was further along in life, and I knew he could achieve one like the one I have because the Airbnb stoves they're good stoves, and we were laid down in a bear stand, a bear blind one night, and I was tormenting him, and by and by he passed me his phone and he said, "I got one ordered." I said, "Things are going to change for you, right?" And I'm sure they have because it was the right combination. That beautiful tent he had from Cabela's. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was massive. It was nice. There were five of us stayed in that one, but his
Wow.
stove just didn't cut it. It was hard to keep us warm, and we kept having to get up and fuel it. And then the pipe was the wrong diameter, so that kept it the grease would build up into it, and then it wouldn't work at all. So anyway, we got through it. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's all stories and parts of a good adventure, though. So
Yeah, it
it's
is. Yeah, yeah,
it's not all bad.
yeah. No.
Let's I know you some of your videos you come back to the island portion of Newfoundland and Labrador and do some hunting with a few buddies.
Hmm.
So do you tend to make that like a yearly thing, or how does that work for you being 15, 16 hour drive away?
Yeah. So the drive, I don't mind at all. A lot of people just say, "What? You just drove all the way across Labrador?" Yeah. I drive about 11 to 12 hours the first day. It gets me to the south coast of Labrador. I cross the ferry. The next day, I am anywhere on the island I want to be. And I don't mind that. I kind of like the drive actually, because again, you're being outside even when you're driving. Uh, it's definitely an annual thing. I hunt regularly with my friends there, and of course Mark Brian is the guy who I'm hunt mostly with,
Yes.
and he lives in Corner Brook, and he's just the best guy. I've known him forever, and he's an ultimate guide too, and he has a cabin, and he just knows the areas. So to me, to come down for that week, or I was under 2 weeks this time with him, we have a ball. It's just like when we were, like you're back in school again. I mean, you're just doing, what you want to do with one of your buddies. And
Absolutely.
this year, I got a trophy caribou, and he was more excited than I was. because
Yep.
he's the one. You didn't see this behind the scenes. I wish you could see this behind the scenes work, but he wanted me to. He knew that I'd never ever, had a shot at a trophy caribou before. He's the one who convinced me. I'm so glad he did. He convinced me to go after that animal because I was ready to just take whatever come along,
Yep.
and so that is a memory that will last forever. And what people don't see either is that Mark is such a good guy that as a surprise for me, he took my antlers and the skull and made it into a European mount. It's a beautiful job he did with it.
I can imagine.
So to further these trips along, next fall, my son will have a caribou license. And so we're already pre-planning for that. And now, if you want to be excited, you shoot a caribou yourself, but you want to be more excited, you watch your son or your daughter hunt and be successful, and the happiness that comes with that. So yeah, it's it's in the plans. The holidays are already booked. It's happening. Yeah,
You can't wait, hey?
yeah,
No, I can, like you mentioned, I get thrilled enough when I shoot, even if it's just a meat hunt or whatever, just to fill the freezer. But you harvest an animal, and it's a good feeling, right? But
yeah,
like my kids are still young; they're only 2 and 6. But I hope when they get older that they're into some sort of hunting, just to take them on those adventures and experience that with them as well. I can only imagine what that feels like.
yeah. It's great. Yeah, it's great.
So when you're going on your tenting adventures, or like say you're going on a 1 night or a 2 night stay, what sort of gear are you taking with you? Are you taking just the bare minimum? You taking a few extra?
Yeah. Is every someone asked me that this morning 'cause I get questions all the time from people, and this guy just asked me, what's the number one sleeping bag?" And I did answer I gave them is that you can't. There's not one answer to that, right?
Hmm.
And what you just said to me, you asked the question the right way. Every trip that I go on, I usually have a different sleeping bag, or I might have a different cooking set because it depends on if you have room or not room, no room for it, or if you're going into extreme cold or you're going to be in the back of a truck.
That's right.
And but what I do is some trips are easier because I've been there, on those
Yep.
particular trips in that area, so I pretty much know what gear to take. Other times, uh, and I teach hunters education to people at the college, and I tell people to do this. I live my trip in my mind before I go,
Yep.
days and days, sometimes weeks before. If it's a big trip and you have no access to anything that's close, I pre-plan it that way. I think about, okay, I'm leaving, from my clothes I'm going to wear to what food I'm going to eat, and I picture myself with my tent or staying in my cabin wherever I'm to. Then I think about my bedding. I think about everything. What I'm going to eat with. What am I going to eat, and how will I clean up that? So I just live the trip before I go, and that helps me tremendously. And if you're like me, I forget half stuff I just thought about. So I got a little list thing on my phone. My phone's always in my pocket. Everybody has a phone in their pocket, right?
Yep.
And I got a little notes thing there, and I just check it off. And then with that note thing on my phone, I go back on my next trip, and I always just go back and have a look at that list again. But that's the way I do it. Some people may do it different, but that's my go-to. Live it before you do it, and you'll always forget something, but you'll
Oh,
manage.
yeah. There's no doubt you're never going with everything that you need or everything you want, but
Yeah,
that seems like a great way to, I guess, prepare yourself, and then it kind
yeah,
of helps you pack a little easier too, I guess, right? Outside of like the usual things, your tent, your sleeping bag, your food, utensils. If someone asked you what's one item that they should take on an overnight excursion, what would you tell
Overnight, or most definitely, you have to have proper rest. And I've seen people who were jolly during the daytime and the evening time. They'll laugh, but when it comes down to the lights going down, and all of a sudden you need rest, because if you don't have rest, then the next day is going to be a bad day, and the day after that if you don't get rest the second night. So I always make sure I have a good sleeping bag. It doesn't have to be a cot, but I always take my Thermarest mattress with me because it's so small. So I can
Yep.
take that and I can actually roll up inside my sleeping bag, which I've done many times.
Okay.
And because that gives me a little bit of padding
Yep.
and it gives me warmth as well. I think the one I have now is R12, if I'm not mistaken. It's high up. It's because the first one I was R5. I think this one's either R8 or 8 R12. So it gives me warmth as well. So I got my sleeping bag, which is unique to every trip, and I got a good soft bed, and it's going to be a warm one with that thermarest. That's extremely important on an overnight trip, and that's just given the fact now. We're assuming that we got food and we got
Yes.
water and
Yep.
that kind of stuff, but that's crucial. That to me is crucial
Yep. 100%.
in my
That
books.
makes a lot of sense for sure. Getting down to the end of it here now. Some of your videos, your son is with you. You're on these long skidoo trips and all that
Mm.
stuff. Like you said, you guys are planning a hunt here to the island for next fall. Doing all that with him must be amazing. Must bring a new level of excitement to it for you. When it comes like, so I'm assuming like he doesn't live with you now, right?
Yeah, no, he's 25. He actually bought my house that I when I lived in town, right? Or
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I, yeah, yeah.
So, how does your wife feel about you going on all these trips? Does she ever want to go with you? Does she get worried about you, even though knowing all the experience that you do have and all that stuff? Or
Mhm. She goes with me on a lot of trips. She does her own, like she could have a moose license this fall as well. So we spend a lot of time off camera. Of course, we
yeah,
have a yesterday we were planning a 3-week excursion in our camper this summer. So we do a lot of outdoor stuff together. And
nice.
Sunday we're in the woods all day together as well. Um, but no, she doesn't worry about me. I check in all the time. I have an inReach. I also just acquired one of those Starlink Minis, which I haven't used yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
Fantastic, man.
and now you have satellite texting now with the new iPhones, and she knows that I safeguard, safeguard, safeguard. And I think she's established that trust over the years that I don't leave her hanging,
Nope.
but I always make sure that I'm safe as well.
Yeah,
And
100%.
so it's a mutual thing there that I think she enjoys the fact that I'm enjoying myself too, and she knows that that's me, right?
Yep.
And it's her too, but she knows that that is my happiest time when I'm doing that kind of stuff. So she helps me out. She'll pack whatever she can for me. She'll pack food for me, or she'll ask me if I have this or have that. So she's in, and I'm sure she doesn't mind me not being around tormenting her all the time too. So we give her a little bit of a break too,
Yeah,
admittedly.
yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
I'm sure my wife feels the same way. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck, that's all I have. It's a pleasure to talk to you, man. Like I said, I watch all your videos and keep them coming, man. They're
Mm.
fantastic.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. And yeah, so if I wish you the best in your journey next. I think you're kind of newer to this podcast thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and any of the social media you're involved with, I just wish you the best of luck and all your viewers. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And you can tune into my YouTube channel if you want. It's Chuck Porter, Everything Outdoors. And we'll see you next time.
Yes,
Guaranteed.
sir. And maybe after your hunting trip this year, maybe we can come back and revisit and you can tell us all about that.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother. You just get in touch with me whenever you want, and we'll chat again.
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate it, man.